to the 29th staging of the British Speedway final. Traditionally, one of the most cutthroat events on the domestic calendar. We have 16 riders who've come through the British range for this, the final, at Brandon Stadium, Coventry, in the heart of the Midlands. And they're on parade here in front of a really massive crowd, a knowledgeable crowd. They've come from all over the country to support their riders and to see what always is a really outstanding meeting. The Brandon Stadium track is 335 metres around. They do 4 laps. They go in an anti-clockwise direction. You must score 3 points for a win, 2 for a second, 1 for a third. They have 5 rides each. There are the crowd packing in here at Brandon. The track surface has some new red shell which looks very grippy and promises to be very, very fast indeed. The riders on parade here. And we're coming into heat number 1, and you can identify the riders by their helmet colours. We'll run them down for you. There in white, there is an interesting character, Andy Smith, a northerner Yorkshireman, now lives in Manchester, but he actually is unattached, and he won his semi-final, the first ever rider to win a major World Championship event while not connected to a British club. So 4 laps of race. The machines there are 500cc. They have no brakes. They have a fixed gearing. They're capable of acceleration from 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds, and they really roar. There is Neil Collins, one of the Collins clan from Cheshire. He'll be on the outside. Then we have Andy Smith. He is in white there. You can see him there. That's what they call guarding. Just trying to dig a bit of dirt out for the start. Andy Smith in white. Looking across there in blue, that's little Steve Schofield from Pool Pirates, 33 years old, and on the inside, Richard Knight, who's with the new Berwick club in the first division of the British League, formerly with East Anglian connections. Heat number 1 coming your way. We'll look at the lineup again. They're settling down. The referee is Paul Ackroyd. He'll get them underway. There they are across the line. Knight on the inside in pole in red. In blue, Schofield. In white, Andy Smith. And on the outside, Neil Collins. Now, Coventry, the outside grids are normally pretty quick in these early races. We'll see the start as they come under starters' orders. They mustn't touch those tapes. If they do, they're excluded. But now they're underway and into the first turn. And again from the outside, it is Collins. And coming through hard underneath him, they're off as Collins finds some grip. And so too does Knight at the back. But it is Andy Smith who came through. Collins made the jump, just found some extra dive coming out of the second turn, but now it's Andy Smith. There's Collins in second place. Third place is Knight, and they're beginning to find their way around, and they are going. It is very fast racing. The track surface looks superb. Conditions absolutely perfect. The weather is good. It's dry. It's overcast, and it looks like we're going to have some real Speedway fun and games. 4 laps, remember. Looks like 3 points for Andy Smith, a terrific start. They need to qualify for the next round. 10 go through, so 7 points really is the target over the line. It's to win for Smith after just that first bend double. Second place is Neil Collins, and third in red it was Richard Knight. So there's the winner, Andy Smith, and he'll be happy with the start to this British final. 3 points for him, and he looked very, very much in command. Really is amazing that no British League track are interested in this young man. With Bradford last year, he's a former world finalist. Couldn't agree terms, now races on the continent, but how long will it be before he's snapped up in Britain? Coming into heat 2, and they are impatient to be away. We've got Mark Loram in red. We'll have a look at him in just a moment or two. He'll be on the inside. Chris Louis, 2 of these lads here, Louis and Loram, right next to each other, are great chums in East Anglia, formerly with Ipswich. And Loram now is a regular squire of Louis' sister. So Loram in red, Louis in blue. Gary Havelock in white, and on the outside, Calvin Tatum, the reigning champion. They all tumble into the first corner, and it's a real tight one, and Louis has gone down, and he went down all on his own there. There was a lot of elbows, there was a lot of argy-bargy up to the turn, but it looked as though Louis in blue, he stayed down, but it was his own fault, that first judgment. Nobody helped him on his way. So really the referee, Paul Ackroyd, has no alternative but to exclude him because he's the cause of the race being stopped. Let's look at it again. You can see there, they really all tighten up into the turn. Havelock pushes his way through in white. Now what's happened to Chris Louis? There he is, back at the back. Well, just overcooked it and wrenched the machine around. Down he goes, and he's going to have to come out and we're going to have a rerun. Oh, damaged. Little S, his father Tiger Louis on the left there, former world number 3. But that's an unhappy start for Chris Louis. But it's interesting to conjecture. We did have the defending champion, we still have the defending champion. That's Kelvin Tatum. He's the only rider in the field who has won this crown before. Kelvin is in yellow and black, in the yellow and black checkered helmet. Now he's struggling with a back injury. He was pulled out of his meeting the night before at Berwick. He's on the outside here, just the 3 starters now. Mark Laram on the inside. Then a big gap before we get to Gary Havelock from Bradford. A lot of people's favourite, this boy. But on the outside, Kelvin Tatum there. How will Tatum measure up? Because he's in a lot of trouble, a lot of pain. And there goes Havelock, and Havelock's gone away like a steam train. He leads it. Second place coming through is Mark Laram, and Tatum is struggling. No question about that. Kelvin Tatum, the reigning champion. Coventry is his former track. He went to Berwick during the winter in a big money move, but he's in trouble here and he's being dropped. There is Kelvin Tatum, and he says he has difficulty sitting on the sun. He's always standing up, but when he sits down it's very painful. These 2 guys don't care about that. This is Gary Havelock, 22 from Bradford. Second place, it is Mark Laram, another of the young brigade, only 20. The kids are coming through in Britain. And Tatum is a long way back, and we wonder, we conjecture, are we to have a sensation? The defending champion is definitely struggling. He's just not in the picture at all and looking very uncomfortable. Not so Gary Havelock. He made the start. He's only been back after a ban. This is the 19th day back from a ban, but he doesn't look race rusty at all. 3 points for him, 2 for around there. Where is Tatum? There is Tatum, and he doesn't look comfortable. Gary Havelock with the ponytail hairstyle made the start. He's been unbeaten in his last couple of meetings. He's the form lad. He looks very dangerous and very sharp. Well, we're coming into race number 3. Remember, they all have 5 starts. We have 20 races for you. And you can see how grippy it's getting out there. It really is very, very fast indeed. There's the lineup for heat number 3. On the inside, Alan Graham. Next to him, Sean Wilson. Grid 3 has Paul Thorpe. On the outside, David Mullett. He's a first-time finalist, yellow and black. Heat number 3, and up to the corner. And it is Mullett that's away. And on the inside, Graham coming through. Graham and Mullett's in 3rd place. It is Wilson. It's very tight as they hit the bottom corner here at Brandon. And oh my word, Graham almost stopped. Mullett picked him up and went right high siding over the top, and that was a naughty one. It looked like Graham had just slowed, and Mullett, who was roaring underneath, here he comes, and he just T-bows him, and over they go. And Dave Mullett, the bikes are somersaulting. That really was an awkward tumble. And what is the referee going to make of it? Because although Mullett there picked up the rider in front, I think it's going to have to be Mullett, and there's the damage that's been done. Short base for that wheel now. So Dave Mullett, it's a miracle they're on their feet, the pair of them, but Mullett judged to be the cause of the accident. And here is Andy Graham, who was leading, but we wonder how much steam that's knocked out of him, because he did go down very heavily. Alan Graham, who had a serious illness a couple of years rather ago, and he's made a really tremendous comeback into big-time Speedway. So there's the lineup, revised lineup, rerun. That's the second spill we've had in 3 heats. It's going to be really a killer diller out there. Heat 3 then with Alan Graham on the inside. Then we have Sean Wilson, another little Yorkshireman. He rode here at Coventry. He knows the track now with Bradford. And in white it's Paul Thorpe. Paul Thorpe with Bradford, former Stoke rider. He's a stylish boy, this. He goes very quickly when he gets in front. Paul Thorpe in white, and of course no rider in yellow and black. Dave Mullett excluded, being the cause of that rather spectacular tumble. Heat number 3 coming under starters orders. Graham was leading when the race was stopped. Here we go again. Restart of heat number 3. And this time it looks as though Thorpe from the outside has made the start. Thorpe has made a terrific start. Coming in round into second place, it is Alan Graham down the curve, but Thorpe leads it. And sweeping through, they're taking his moment, little Sean Wilson. And, well, Alan Graham was caught a little there, maybe a little complacent, or maybe still feeling the effects of that fall. No stopping Paul Thorpe, look at him go. same order. Thorpe leads it. There is Sean Wilson. And he's a tenacious customer, and he'll be looking for qualification. Remember, the top 10 scorers go through to the Commonwealth final at Kingsland next month. Thorpe with time to look over his shoulder. He's established, what, a 10-length lead. And the track, as we anticipated, is very fast. Thorpe wins it. Second place, it is Wilson. In third place, Alan Graham, struggling a bit. There's Paul Thorpe, 3 points to him. And after the start, well, they saw nothing of him but his heels. Sean Wilson goes across to say well done. Here is Paul Thorpe in his fourth British final. He'll be happy with that start, and providing he can make that kind of getaway, he'll be in contention. Coming into heat number 4, there is one of the more experienced campaigners. This is Jeremy Doncaster, 29 in his 7th British final. John Davis, though, is the daddy of them all in white. This is his 16th final. JD now 36. Second way back, what was it, 74. Most experienced. There's the lineup. Jeremy Doncaster in red. Joe Screen in his first British final. There is Doncaster. Screen will be next to him in blue. Joe Screen, the baby of Bellevue, Manchester. Then John Davis. And on the outside, Martin Dugard from Oxford. And Dugard, son of a former racer, former British junior champion, is many people's idea of a possible winner here today. Heat number 4, Doncaster, Screen, Davis, Dugard on the outside. The start, all important. Seem to hold him a long time, and away they go, and it is Dugard from the outside, Doncaster from pole. Dugard made the start. He's not usually a particularly fast starter, but he's away here. Second place now is Joe Screen, came creeping up the curve inside Doncaster. Screen whips away his visor, we got a glimpse of it there, but it's Dugard in front. And Screen, and it is the younger brigade who are beginning to make their mark here. Doncaster is in third place, and John Davis, the veteran's a long way back and looks a bit down on power, quite frankly. But this guy isn't. Martin Dugard, his 22nd birthday just 24 hours ago. Made the start, got across from the outside, has the line, has the power, has the skill, has the ability, and he's going for it. Neat, controlled style. Second place is Screen. It is really, really quick. He is going very swiftly indeed. Over the line, it is Dugard. Second place is Screen. Third place is Doncaster. Race winner, Martin Dugard. And the time just being announced, we thought it was quick. It equals the track record, 61.4, so it does show this track is absolutely superb today. Coming in for race number 5 of the 1991 Home Fire British Final, and there is Paul Thorpe, a race winner, first time out. He'll be in yellow and black on the outside. Again, the outside run to the first corner has proved to be very beneficial so far in this meeting. Thorpe here, something's got to give. He's got Martin Dugard, a race winner, first time out. There he is. He'll be on the inside here in the red helmet colouring here. Martin Dugard, who equalled the track record in his first ride. Just letting the clutch ease off a bit there at the start. So there is Dugard in red. Next to him in blue, Richard Knight. Needs points, 1 point only, first time out. Mark Moran is in white, and he's from Kings Lynn, and he has a second place first time. And Paul Thorpe, race winner, he's on the outside in yellow and black. Dugard red, won his first ride. Knight in blue, white Laurent, outside Paul Thorpe in yellow and black. Heat 5 coming your way. Oh, looks like a very sharp start from Dugard on the inside. Dugard, but it's Thorpe on the outside, and Thorpe is out where the dirt is and might just have the line. Third place is Laurent. Thorpe goes around the outside. Dugard is second. Third place is Richard Knight. Well, there's the battle, and Thorpe just with the outside run with just a little bit of extra drive has got the grip, has got the right line, and he's moved in front, and he is really travelling as they come past us. He is absolutely flat out, and this is going to be another fast time. Remember that Dugard equalled the track record. Now Thorpe's in front of him. There is Dugard. third place is Knight still, and Mark Laram at the back, and he won't be happy with that. He's in one. A little battle development between those two, as you can see. But they're tightening up at the back as they come into the last lap with Dugard. That's the second place battle. The Knight trying the outside run at him. In front it's Thorpe, and Thorpe is going for it. And that's the battle for the odd placings. Thorpe is going over the line, flying. Second place, it was Dugard, and in third place, it was Richard Knight. So Thorpe wins it. There is the race winner. Now, Dugard had equalled the record. Thorpe beat him quite conclusively there. We wait for the time, and it is a new track record, 61.1. We fancied he was jet propelled. Going into heat number 6, we have the lineup on the inside show screen. Second place, first time out. Alan Graham in blue has 1 point. Steve Schofield, no score yet. And Gary Havelock, who looked most impressive, very sharp, lean, mean, hungry in his first ride. He's had his problems in the past, this boy. He's had suspensions, he's been out of action. He was only allowed back in the sport at the first of this month, so he hasn't had an awful lot of time to get his old sharpness back, but he looked very good first time out. Heat number 6. Screen on the inside, Graham blue, Schofield white, Havelock on the outside. Watch for Havelock around the outside. When he gets the drop, he'll come swimming across the field. Heat number 6. Unique angle there, and who's going to be in front? It is Graham, but here comes Havelock as we anticipated around the outside. A brave, bold body first couple of turns. Havelock takes the outside line. Second place it is Graham. In third place, Joe Screen making some impact there. And Alan Graham and Screen together. Screen now trying the inside run just out of our picture. He's just gone through as he now comes around the outside boldly of Alan Graham, and that's a fine piece of speedway from young Joe Screen. First British final, we remind you, 18 years old, and well, he picked his way through there. This shows that the track will allow passing, providing you've got enough courage to open the throttle and have a go. Still Havelock in front though, and Screen has moved up from last to second, and now he's right on Havelock's back wheel. Havelock's aware of the danger. He's just got to get around these two corners. The crowd are beginning to try and lift Screen, but Havelock holds on. He hits 3 points. Second place it's Screen. Third place there was Alan Graham. There was Havelock. But the boy the crowd are talking about was Joe Screen. He was last, he worked his way through, and he really made Havelock aware of his presence. 3 more points though for Gary Havelock from Bradford, who now moves into the lead with an unbeaten 6 points. And we're moving out now to heat number 7, and as the warriors prepare like some medieval jousting knights. With their face visors, their clutch, they have a cutout which supposedly cuts the machine when they fall. It doesn't always happen, but as we hope it doesn't have to happen here. Heat number 7, Sean Wilson on the inside. Next to him, Jeremy Doncaster. Only 1 point, he needs points. Chris Louis has no scoring on the outside. It is Andy Smith who will be in yellow and black this time, and away they go, and into the first corner. It is Louis who gets away. Louis and Doncaster, and here comes young Chris Louis. He's in front, he's in white, remember. Doncaster is second. Third is Smith, a race winner in his first ride, and Chris Louis, Sean Wilson, he is at the back there trying to bore a hole down the inside of Andy Smith, and does so. And did he pick him up? We just caught that one perfectly. Andy Smith was in third place. Wilson came under him. Now, did he clip him? There he goes. Well, the referee will have to make his mind up on that, but it was a real touch and go situation, and there is Sean Wilson and Andy Smith. We got the actually just it up perfectly, and it looks as though the referee has decided that Sean Wilson was the guilty party there, because his light has come on. Smith certainly was the one who went down, and there is the pits, and that's given them something to talk about. Smith will go back in to heat number 7. Wilson has come out. That'll give us something to talk about. So we only have 3 starters in the rerun. Let's look at them across the line. Jeremy Doncaster, 1 point first time out in blue. Then Chris Louis needs points. He fell and was excluded in his first ride. He's got to pick up his act. On the outside, Andy Smith, who won his first ride. Remember, this lad hasn't got a British track, so he'll be anxious to impress any of the bosses, and there are most of the British League bosses here today. Heat 7 rerun, 3 only. That's a good start. A very, very sharp start there is Doncaster on the inside, but coming hard down the curve there. It is Chris Louis, and that really was a super piece of curve talk. He didn't make the start, the lad. Came round the inside as Doncaster and Smith were aware of each other. They forgot all about Chris Louis, and young Master Louis from Ipswich, newly elevated into the first division, just picked his moments and really went roaring through. There is Louis, 21 years old, son, we mentioned, of a famous, almost a folklore hero in East Anglia, John Tiger Louis, skipper of the Witches for many, many successful seasons. There's the battle for the odd placing, but Chris Louis will be feeling happier. He fell off all on his own first time out. He needed to get a race win under his belt. Providing he does nothing very silly, he's going to do it here in Heat 7. Louis back in contention. Second place in blue, Doncaster. Third in yellow and black, Andy Smith. So after a race win first time out, again we can but conjecture if the tumble there has affected Smith. Louis though, Chris Louis with 3 points and back in line for one of those qualification places at the very least. Moving on to race number 8, when the last 4 of the 16 starters complete their second ride. Remember, they have 5. This is Heat 8, and we look across the line with Neil Secco's first time out. He's in red. Kelvin Tatum, that's the big question. Kelvin Tatum, reigning champion, carrying a back injury, looked uncomfortable first time. Now, has he got himself back into grip? Has he got the harness back on? He's in blue. Dave Mullett in white, who had a very, very untidy tumble, and John Davis on the outside, no score, looking a bit down on power on his first ride. Heat number 8, all eyes on Tatum in the blue helmet in grid number 2. And there is the start, and there's not much to choose between them. It's Collins who shows, and Tatum, oh, the back doesn't seem to be playing up much now. He's in front. Second place, it is Collins. In third place, there's a rare old battle going on between Davis and Mullett, and it looks like Mullett just has the drop. Kelvin Tatum, he was noticeably struggling first time out. He was really having trouble walking around in the pits before the meeting with this spinal trouble. But he's looking very comfortable now, and it takes a guy of a very special kind of courage to get on one of those bikes when your back's playing up like it has been with him. Kelvin, 27, he's an ex-public schoolboy. We won't get many of them in Speedway. This is his 7th British final. He's won it a couple of times. He's finished second twice. He's been third. Very consistent performer, former world number 3, and still regarded by many as England's best hope for the world crown. Last won by an Englishman in 1980, Michael Lee, as Tatum goes over the line. Second there was Neil Collins, and third in white there it was David Mullett, and John Davis having a terrible day. So they've all done a couple of rides. There is the leaderboard. You can see the 2 Northerners, Gary Havelock and Paul Thorpe, both from Bradford on 6 points. Martin Dugard on 5. Tatum back in the picture on 4 alongside Neil Collins and Andy Smith. Jeremy Doncaster and Chris Louis, the East Anglian pair, on 3 apiece.
Paul Thorpe, 2 rides, 2 wins. You must be happy with your start today.
Yeah, I'm happy. I usually don't get a good start in the qualifying rounds, but today's, I think I was a little bit lucky in the first race where I got stopped after a crash, but I'm feeling pretty pleased with life at the moment.
Well, you must be, because you've taken the track record as well.
Yeah, that was a added bonus, you know. It's always nice to get 2 wins under your belt in a qualifying round, which I've never ever done up until today, and to take the track record as well is like doubly pleasing, you know.
Well, you've had a fairly good start to your season. Obviously, if you get beyond this stage and the Commonwealth final, the next round is at your home track at Bradford.
Well, yeah, that's my aim. Actually, if I get, excuse me, through the British final without any problems, and hopefully through Kings Lynn, because I like Kings Lynn as well, and then the overseas is on my home track, and you know, hopefully I can get all the way this year. And I've certainly changed a lot of things about myself and my equipment, so you know, I'm ready for it.
Paul Thorpe there with Mike Bennett as we come into heat number 9 of this 1991 British final here at Coventry Stadium, the heart of the Midlands, and many feel the heart of British Speedway. Super track, great organisation, and we're having quite a meeting. Heat number 9 then, on the inside, Gary Havelock, he's unbeaten as well, 2 wins. Next to him, John Davis in blue. Richard Knight is in white. He has 2 points and will be looking to pick that up. He needs more points. And Sean Wilson, there is Havelock we're looking at now, but on the outside in the yellow, it is Sean Wilson with a 2nd place and an exclusion, so he needs points as well. Havelock looks set. Havelock is looking as though he could win the meeting outright. He's on the inside here, then John Davis. Grid 3 has Richard Knight. On the outside, it is Sean Wilson. It's going to be the charge of the heavy brigade up to the corner. Heat number 9. Away they go. It looks like Havelock and Knight go through, and Knight's gone down, and they've all gone. Knight was first to go. He picked up Wilson on the outside. John Davis picked the pair of them up, and that really was a very, very tough old clash. Let's look at it again. Forget about Havelock on the inside. He's away. Who went first? It was Richard Knight. He went down. Davis picked him up. Wilson had nowhere to go but into trouble, and that was radical. And some cause for concern there. You can see Neil Collins is out there with Sean Wilson. Wilson really perhaps got the rough end of the pineapple there, because he was on the outside and had nowhere to go but straight into the crash wall. Davis is still down. It looks as though Richard Knight was the first to go, but in Speedway the referee may well feel that it was first Ben bunching and let all back in, but it certainly was a nasty one. Davis is down. Some cause for concern here. These riders are well padded up and protected, but if you hit the deck at 60 mile an hour, you can do some awful damage. There's Davis that's down. There's Sean Wilson back on his state of the car here at the first turn. I can't appreciate his courage. Back under orders, referee Paul Ackroyd will press the button. And it's a superstar from the inside. Havelock and Knight. Havelock in red, Knight on the outside. Gary Havelock, who has hardly been headed before, and he is here. And Richard Knight, who was in the centre of the carnage first time out, is really stretching now, and Havelock is going after him, and this is good Speedway. There's Havelock, who hasn't been headed yet, but Richard Knight is out front, and he is going forward, and it looks like he is pulling out all the stops, and he's got himself into trouble. Was he overriding? Richard Knight was leading Gary Havelock. It looked like he was really pushing himself. Havelock says thank you very much, as Richard Knight contrived to turn himself inside out. He's okay, he's up. And it really was some pretty swift avoiding action. 3 oncoming riders managed to miss him. Havelock says thank you very much indeed. I'll pick up the 3 points. And we can again but wonder, if you're going to be a champion, you've got to get some luck. Was that the lucky moment for Gary Havelock? He wins it. 2nd place, it is Wilson. 3rd place is John Davis. And there is Gary Havelock, who rode not just that 500cc bike, but his luck there in heat number 9. And Richard Knight, who was in front of him, and he was the first guy to get in front of Havelock on the occasion, fell on the 3rd lap. No real harm done, but it means that Gary Havelock is still unbeaten. And there is Richard Knight, and is his World Championship dream over? You can see what he's saying. I just couldn't hang on to it. Coming up to heat number 10, looking at little Steve Schofield, only 5'1", smallest rider, just about the smallest rider in the business. There's Dave Mullett. He's had a torrid British final. First one, an exclusion in the 3rd place. Mark Laram is in blue. Jeremy Doncaster is in white. Now, Donkey was reckoned to be one of the favourites here. He's only got 3 points, so he could do with a win here. And on the outside, Steve Schofield, yet to score. Doesn't like the Coventry track, Steve Schofield. Never one of his favourites. Heat number 10. It's an even break. Who will show? It's the inside. It is Mullett and Laram and Doncaster going the high wide around the outside. And Doncaster is back in last place as Laram leads it. 2nd place is Mullett. 3rd place is Schofield. Where is Jeremy Doncaster? This could be a surprise. They're all tightening up here as they hit the 3rd corner. Still Laram leads. It's a very tight battle for the odd points, and something's got to give here. And it's Dave Mullett, and Mullett has gone down. Now, again, what happened there? It looked as though Doncaster took his foot away. Down goes Dave Mullett. We said he was having a torrid time. You remember that one as well. And what is the referee going to make of that? Because Mullett went down. It looked from our picture, and remember we have a privileged view, that Doncaster took his leg away. What will the referee say? Well, now here's a point to get them debating. The referee, Paul Ackroyd, and the crowd really are buzzing here, has said nobody was to blame for the accident. In fact, it was an unsatisfactory start, and you never saw the red warning lights because it's bright sunshine, so the race shouldn't have continued, and that will have them really talking over their pints around the pubs and clubs of Britain where Speedway fans gather. So it's all 4 back in. It's a clever way of not making a decision. But he's the referee, he's the man with the whistle. Heat number 10, same lineup, all 4 in. And, well, somebody can count themselves a little fortuitous here. Heat 10, 2nd time of asking. And that is a better start for Doncaster. Doncaster on the outside in white. In front there it is Dave Mullett. In 3rd place it is Laram. There's the battle, Doncaster and Mullett. Mullett and Doncaster together. Mullett red, Doncaster taking the outside line of super piece of manoeuvrability around the outside, sweet as a nut. He leads it in 2nd place. Now Mullett bobbing and ducking, and Laram going under him. But old Dave Mullett in his first British final is learning just how cutthroat it can be out there. Now he's got Steve Schofield after him. So Doncaster, who needed points, he leads it. There's the battle. You can see Mullett again finding all kinds of problems. There's Mark Laram, he's in 2nd place. It'll be useful to him, he has 2 points so far. And as they come into the last lap, Dave Mullett hanging on brilliantly to 3rd place. There's the leaders, Doncaster needing points. You're happier now, remember, 7-8 points is the cut here to qualify. This should take him up to 6, so he'll be feeling happier. 2nd place, Mark Laram. 3rd is Dave Mullett. Interesting heat 10. Mullett showed early on, but it was Doncaster who made the running after a superb outside sweep. Heat number 11, and is there a quick glimpse of Paul Thorpe? He's unbeaten as well, remember, and the track record holder, so clearly he's revelling in conditions here. There's Joe Screen. Couple of 2nd places in line for a qualification place. He's on the outside. Let's look at the lineup for heat number 11. There is Kelvin Tatum, who seemed to be settling down in his 2nd ride. He has 4 points so far. Next to him, Paul Thorpe, unbeaten yet. Andy Smith has 4 points. Joe Screen has 4 points. They're all in line for a place at the rostrum here in heat number 11, and certainly for qualification. Into the first turn. Terrific start from Andy Smith. He leads it. 2nd place it is Tatum. 3rd place it is Screen. And at the back it's Paul Thorpe. What's happened to Thorpe? So Andy Smith leads it, and Tatum, well, he was struggling early on. He must have had a quick rub down with something miraculous in the pits, because he's certainly not struggling now, and he's beginning to get Andy Smith set up. 3rd place is now Thorpe. He's crept past Screen, just out of our picture, and now Tatum looks determined to pick off Andy Smith up front. Remember, he rode at Brandon here for several seasons, only just left him during the winter, so he knows his way around this circuit, and he's picking around, he's ducking, he's trying to feint, he's trying to manoeuvre it. He's got an opening down the inside, and he's going to take it. There's Smith, who's just left the gap. and Tatum's gone through, and that really was Speedway racing for the connoisseur. Now he's on the outside, and he goes over the line, and Tatum just holds on, and that was sheer track craft and knowledge of this Brandon circuit. He knew where the drive was, he picked his moment, came inside, drifted out, he knew he had to run to the line. Tatum wins it, super Speedway. Second was Smith, third in blue, Paul Thorpe, and Thorpe drops fourth. So a fascinating Heat 11, which may well have an influence on the final result of this meeting. Watch that last lap again. It really is a prime example, an advert of clever track work from Kelvin Tatum. There's Smith, you can see he's left the hole. Tatum just accelerates through now. He knows he's got the run, and he knows that if he moves out, there'll be no room for Smith to get back at him. Heat number 12 then, Martin Dugard on 5 points on the inside, Neil Collins on 4, Alan Graham, his brother Andy is a reserve. He needs points, he is in wide with only 2, and Chris Louis, who's picked up his performance after a first race fall, he's on the outside. He won his second ride. Let's see heat number 12, Dugard on the inside, Louis on the outside. The tapes go, and we're going with Martin Dugard there on the inside, and swooping around the boards, it is Chris Louis. Dugard and Louis together, well, not a whisker between them. It's Louis just had the right line, gets his wheels back in line, accelerates away. He leads heat 12. Second place is Dugard. In third place, it is Neil Collins. And young Chris Louis, not the most experienced man in the field by any stretch of imagination. And there were 1 or 2 people in the crowd after he fell first time who thought it might just buckle. He's responded magnificently. There's Dugard in second place. Third place is Collins. Alan Graham from Cradley Heath just across the Midlands at the back there. And it looks as though that first heat fall has really affected Big Al. Into the last lap now. Remember, 335 metres around Brandon Shell. And Chris Louis, there he is, setting sail. Made his move around the first 2 corners, got in front, not going to be caught now. 3 more points for him. Second, Dugard, red. Third in blue, Neil Collins. So now, Chris Louis, who collected a coconut first time out, remember, is unbeaten in his last 2 rides. He has 6 points and may well be in line for a place in the first 3. Certainly he looks set to qualify at the very least. There is the leaderboard. Havelock now with daylight, 2 points between him and the 3 riders in joint second place. Then Andy Smith, Jeremy Doncaster and Chris Louis, and down the run there you can see those are the riders who are likely to qualify, but there's still a lot of racing to go. Coming into heat 13, and Chris Louis, it's his turn to do 2 on the trot, so he now is on the inside in red. Now he made the start from the outside. Let's see what he can make a pole position. Next to him in blue, Dave Mullin only has 2 points. Joe Screen needs points. He is forward on the outside. Richard Knight desperate for points as well. And again it is Louis, and he's gating superbly. Joe Screen makes a move around the outside. Who will have the drop? It is just Louis. Louis, then Screen. In third place it is Mullet. And Richard Knight at the back in yellow and black in heat number 13. There they are, you can see the distances. And Louis does look sharp. Well, a race win here will certainly ensure that Chris Louis goes forward to the Commonwealth final at Kings Lynn. Second place there, Joe Screed. Well, in second place here would take him on to 6. He'll be relatively happy. But Louis looks so composed, so calm. Neat little style. A bit taller than his dad was, but just as effective and might go just as far, if not further. Second place, Screen, making sure he doesn't go to sleep. Third place there, it was Mullet and Richard Knight at the back, and that must be the end of his World Championship hopes for 1991. There's Louis, and he's won his last 3 rides. Coming into heat 14, there's the lineup. Steve Schofield on the inside in red. Martin Dugard in blue. Grid 3 has Kelvin Tatum on the outside. Sean Wilson, heat number 14. Really beginning to tighten up now. And who will it show? It's Tatum. And he really made a stormer. Tatum away from the tapes. Second place is Schofield. Where did he come from? Third place is Wilson. And it's Dugard who's at the back. and he made a really appalling start there. Dugard, who many felt would certainly be in the first three, and he's at the back and he's struggling. It's Steve Schofield who is causing the eyebrows to be raised here. He hadn't scored before this race. He's very much out of contention. Got away on the first corner after Tatum, and he's in second place. And it's Martin Dugard is having to really bust a gut, trying to make any inroad at all on Sean Wilson. There's Schofield, a reminder that Tatum's a mile in front, in command of heat number 40, getting tight at the back. Wilson and Dugard are really swapping blows. It's sort of a Speedway sliding tackle between these two. There's the leader, Tatum in front. He'll qualify for sure here. Over the line, he gets second place is Schofield, and Wilson hangs on. And young Martin Dugard, many people thought this lad could win this meeting. There's the winner, Kelvin Tatum, and Dugard drops points and now may have to work hard to make sure of qualification. And just out of our picture, the crowd are roaring because Dugard and Wilson were having a few choice words. Moving on to heat 15, there's John Davis, who's had a disastrous, not sweet 16 for him in his 16th British final, and not at all happy, only 1 point. Next to him will be Andy Smith, has 6 points, and Graham in white has 2, and Mark Laram needs points. He is on 4 only, so all these riders here really looking at best for qualification. Top 10 scorers, a reminder, go through to the Commonwealth final when the Flying Aussies join the World Championship Trail in Europe. 10 of these Brits go through to Kings Lynn and the Commonwealth final. Heat 15. And away, and it looks like Davis might have the run. John Davis, who had done nothing as Andy Smith comes roaring back under him. And this is a tight one. Davis in front, a real spoiler. Second place is Smith. Third place is Laram. Alan Graham's involved here. Davis is in front. Laram and Graham together battling. You can see there, in fact, all three in the minor places are absolutely up each other's pockets. John Davis in front, unaware of the drama unfolding behind him. As Mark Laram makes his move, he's in yellow and black. Graham picks up some drive there. You could throw an army blanket over these three, and this really is vintage Speedway. Laram is now gone around the outside of Smith. He's now around the outside of Graham, and Mark Laram needing points. Is really riding right out of his socks. He's up in the second place. Here comes Smith back at him. Davis unaware of the drama, and Graham's gone through on the inside in white, and so too has Smith on the inside. Miraculous! What a race! Davis will win it. Hold on for second place, it's Alan Graham. In third place, it was Andy Smith, who almost goes into orbit. And Mark Laram, while your heart goes out to the lad, he worked his way to second place. And there's Davis and Graham having words, for what reason I don't know. Davis won the race, but the action at the back was absolutely purple. Coming into heat number 16, what could possibly top 50? Remarkable Speedway. There's the lineup, Paul Thorpe with 7 points, 2 race wins in a third. Then we have Gary Havelock, unbeaten, still the leader. Neil Collins is in white with 5 points, and Jeremy Doncaster on 6. So all these riders look to have done enough for qualification already. So are we looking for the winner, Gary Havelock, overall in the meeting? The new British champion could be the rider in blue as they hit the corner, and it is Havelock, and it is Doncaster on the outside. He leaves no room as Doncaster tried to run down the boards. That blitz forked through on the inside red. Havelock, then Thorpe. Third place is Doncaster. And at the back it is Collins, and it's cut and thrust again out there, and through on the inside as Thorpe overcooks a second turn, leaving Doncaster. Crafty old merchant picked his moment. Jeremy Doncaster goes through to second place. Can he possibly catch Havelock? That's the question, because Havelock looked like making a mistake. He is in front. Second place, you can see them in line of beam. There is Doncaster. Third place, it is Paul Thorpe, and Thorpe is not looking quite so convincing when he's at the back as when he's at the front. Of course, when you're in front, you make your own line, and it looks as though Neil Collins is going to sneak through for the liner. Doncaster in second place. The winner, though, Havelock. Third place.
Gary Hadlock and question brand is who's going to...
Well, there's the leaderboard. It means that Gary Havelock really just needs a second place in his last ride to win the British Crown. Tatum is second. Done well, the lad. Chris Louis third. And then the big battle for qualification. We look down the bottom end there, and there's more riders in qualification places at the moment. Heat 17, and all the riders complete their last rides here, and we have a reserve coming in here. Lee Coleman, just really forget about him. He's in yellow and black, replacing Alan Graham. Richard Knight in red, Tatum blue, Jeremy Doncaster white, and away they go. And it is Tatum, and it is Doncaster together. Tatum in blue, and Doncaster in white. They're the two really experienced riders, and Tatum again makes his move quite perfectly. Beautiful style. He leads it. Second place now is Doncaster. Third is Richard Knight, and the reserve Lee Coleman, a lad just wanted to make up the numbers. Alan Graham, sadly, his world championship is over. He was excluded, being unable to get a bike started in time for heat number 17. Oh, and Doncaster there made a most disastrous mistake, perhaps as well that Richard Knight wasn't in serious contention. There is Donkey in white, the white helmet colour. He has a total of what, 8 points, so a second place here will ease him through to the Commonwealth final. Come Tatum, if he gets around these next 335 metres, and there he is, and what a remarkable recovery he's made from that back injury. He really has ridden with great courage and style, and a win here can put some pressure, not a lot on Havelock. It would mean he finishes what now, on 13 points, which will certainly assure him of a place in the rostrum, probably second place. Tatum wins it, and you have to doff your cap to the rider from Berwick. He is, of course, a southerner, originally rode for Wimbledon and Coventry. And we missed just out of the picture there Lee Coleman hitting the boards after the race had stopped. Heat number 18, Paul Thorpe in red, Steve Schofield in blue, Chris Louis in white. And if Louis could win here, this could take him onto the rostrum as well. And John Davis, who suddenly came to life in his last ride in yellow and black. Thorpe has 7 points, Schofield's out of contention. Louis needs a race win for a place in the first three, and on the outside Davis needs points. Into the corner, and it is Davis who leads it. There's a surprise, moving hard under him and moving him over. It's Paul Thorpe. Where is Chris Louis? Chris Louis is back in last place at the moment, and he's got some work to do. An interesting old hit number 18, and Louis comes swooping under Steve Schofield, moves up into third place. Still Thorpe in front, and Louis moves through past Davis, and John Davis has gone from first to last. He has been struggling mechanically, but the young men mean business. Davis moves back into third place. They're ducking and diving. Who said Speedway was all right first out of the start? They've been swapping positions here in heat 18, virtually from the start until now as they come into the last lap. With still Paul Thorpe in front. In second place it is now Louis, and well, a second place here ought to still take young Chris Louis onto the rostrum. Paul Thorpe will win it and qualify comfortably. Second place, hard work in second place too for Chris Louis. Third place it was John Davis. There's the race winner, a dead cert for the next round, and Chris Louis in second place, coming battling from the back, moves into the rostrum place with 11 points. Coming into heat number 19 now, and all eyes on the yellow and black. Gary Havelock just needs a couple of points to be the new British champion. He's in yellow and black. Will he settle for the easy option, or will he go for it? It's a tough old race. Andy Smith in red, Dave Mullins in blue. Martin Dugard really needs points to be sure, and Gary Havelock on the outside, unbeaten. Now, will Master Havelock just settle for second place and the title, or will he want to go through the card? Knowing the young man, he'll go for it. He'll want to go through with a 15-point. Maybe he'll want to emphasise his authority and class and stranglehold on this meeting. He really has been in terrific form. He's on the outside here. He's made the start. He's ridden so smoothly. He's never looked like being caught once he's been in front. Heat 19, is this the ride that will take Gary Havelock to an unbeaten maximum in the British final? And he has made a terrific start. On the outside, he's got Andy Smith there on the inside, and he and Smith are great chums, they're fellow Northerners. And well, looks like they've worked out a game plan here, because they're in front, they're looking for each other. Remember that Smith needs points to be absolutely sure, but Havelock is going to win this British final if he just keeps going in this style. Dugard's back in third place, he will need those points, but all eyes are on Gary Havelock, the young man from Bradford, 22-year-old former British junior champions. He's had his problems, he's had his troubles, he's had his suspensions. This is his 4th British final. He was 4th in 1990. He was 12th in 1987. In 1988, he had a disaster, no score at all. This time, it looks like he's going to go through the card. And what an impressive performance this is from 22-year-old Gary Havelock, son of a former Northern hero, Brian Havelock, who's here today in the pits to watch his son win the British Championship. Gary Havelock, in just 19 days back from suspension, has shown his critics and his knockers that he is one to reckon with. He wins heat number 90, wins the title. Here's Andy Smith, he's going through as well. Martin Dugard says, yeah, well done, son. And let's look at the delight. He punches the air, he has dominated this meeting. He was only behind once, he had a bit of luck when Richard Knight fell, but he was superb. And this is heat 20, and they all need points here. Mark Laram, Joe Screen, Sean Wilson and Neil Collins. There's a battle here. You can't afford to finish last because they're all needing points to qualify. Heat number 20 is terribly tight. In front, it is Wilson in 2nd place. It is Collins in 3rd place. It's Laram, and at the back, Joe Screen. And look, Laram almost lost it there. And that's relegated him back into last place as Screen comes through. Just look at down the line. Wilson, he's leading it in white and he has 5 points. In 2nd place it is Collins and he has 6 points. In 3rd place it is Screen, he has 6 points. Remember, 7 is going to be the cut, we would reckon. And here comes Neil Collins on the inside of Sean Wilson. Wilson from Bradford and Collins from Bellevue, Manchester. Mark Laram is at the back and that could be a disaster for him. They're into the last lap now and they're still battling as if their life depended on it. Wilson in front, 2nd place it's Collins. And Collins, well, you want to try and get up to be sure. Wilson and Collins absolutely shoulder to shoulder. And here comes Neil Collins through right on the flag. Oh. Well, from first to last, we've had some fun and games in this British final. Neil Collins simply didn't give up. His tenacity took him through. There was a hole there. It wasn't much of a hole. He went through it. Neil Collins wins heat 20. Well, we've got the 10 qualifiers, but we just need to find out who it is who's going to be reserve. And the 2 riders who finished equally on 5 points. John Davis on the inside. Mark Laram in the red helmets in battle for the reserve place in the Commonwealth final. Davis has made the start, he's drifted right out. There's a hole there if Laram can take advantage, which it looks like he's going to. So Mark Laram goes through. John Davis is 2nd, and I'm for the reserve place for the car machine. We've got the 10 qualifiers. We know that Gary Havelock is the new British champion. We know Kelvin Tatum has battled back from adversity to finish 2nd. In 3rd place, Chris Louis, a good pick up from him too after a disappointing first ride. He's 3rd. We've got 10 qualifiers, and going with them to Kings Lynn, it looks like Mark Laram. Indeed, Kings Lynn is home track, so, well, he wouldn't really have his chums ill fortune, but if one of them should drop out or get hurt, he'll go through. Laram wins the runoff for reserve for the Commonwealth final after a really superb British final. We've had some great racing. And now it's time for the parade and the victor to collect his spoils. There is the final leaderboard. Gary Havelock wins it, Tatum is 2nd, Chris Louis is in 3rd place, and all these riders qualify: Paul Thorpe, Jeremy Doncaster, Neil Collins, Martin Dugard, Andy Smith, Sean Wilson and Joe Screen. Laram goes with them as reserve.
Okay, thank you.
Just in the picture there, Michael Lim, there he is, the chairman of the Speedway Control Board. There are the non-qualifiers, sad riders: John Davis, Andy Graham, David Mallet, Richard Knight. They've all contributed, Steve Schofield, they've all had their moments. But here is a happy man, 22-year-old Gary Havelock, the winner of the 1991 British final.
Gary.